Welcome back to Fellow Justice. Objection, by the way! Fuck. Why not choose a less dangerous buyer then? I would.
Heck, clueless are ya? Everyone in the market's dangerous. The second I find out I was a cop, I could kiss my keister goodbye.
Why sell it to a black market buyer? How about someone like this?
That article! That's about the Chief Justice's.
A deadly poison can be extracted from the cocoon, but so can a cure. And not a cure for just any disease. A cure for incuritis.
Incuritis! I've heard of that somewhere.
You went to visit a victim of the disease this morning!
Aha! Why, that's the disease the Chief Justice's son has! You aren't saying...
Our witness is a detective. He would have contact with the Chief Justice.
You are saying the Chief Justice would never deal in contraband.
Not even to save his own son's life?
But even if the deal went through, why, it'd be an international scandal.
That's Detective Chris Sin's insurance. If word ever got out, the one on the with his neck on the noose would be the Chief Justice.
Detective Christin, this is true. First I'm a murderer, now I'm a smuggler. How many times are you trying to pin on me? How many crimes are you trying to pin on me anyway? Distasteful it is to think about it. If the Chief Justice were the buyer, why, a seller couldn't hope for a better deal. A very cowardly seller. Don't let sleeves over there trick you. So I made a deal with Chief Justice. Where's your proof?
Well...
Oh yeah, and you're forgetting one other important thing.
Do tell.
Interpol isn't the only one out there watching us. Bulgarian Customs barely sleeps. They're so worried about cocoons getting out. So we were informed. Let's continue with the cross-examination.
So do statement.
Bulgarian Customs is very thorough. Everything and everyone gets checked.
Just how strict is this customs check?
Way strict. They keep planes on the ground for hours.
I do recall being a bit extreme. They were even confiscating gun jobs and marshmallows.
Yes, it'd be hard to distinguish them.
That's right. Gavin was in Bulgaria, wasn't he? I remember setting off the metal detector several times. I had to practically strip naked to walk through. Here's a travel tip for you, Gavin. Leave the bling at home, you glamorous fop. Alright, so... essentially... How did the cocoon get to America? America or Japan, whatever.
Fucking Darian.
How?
Because he's lying about not leaving the country.
But Gavin said that he has never been out of the country. So that's true.
Bulgarian Customs, super thorough. Everything and everyone gets checked.
Yeah.
Everything and everyone.
Fuck.
So how did it get through? They put it in the sound hole of the guitar and wrapped it up.
Okay. 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 Actually, there is one way.
What?
One way to get something out of the country. No checks.
What is it?
You became a
your butthole.
Your butthole. You become a prosecutor.
A colonaut? What? A prosecutor?
I don't believe it.
Proctologist.
Believe it. Prosecutor Gavin. What was it that you said? What was it that you told me yesterday at your office? It was a beautiful instrument. It was played lovingly for many years. A guitar befitting a woman like Lamior.
How did it end up here?
I mentioned how much I enjoyed playing it that night, and she made it a present.
So this guitar is from Bulgaria?
That it is. You couldn't carry it on the plane. Changes in air pressure and humidity will ruin the wood. So we vacuum packed it in Lamir's studio. I used a special shipping service available to me for transporting evidence. They brought it right up to my office for me. Pristine and untouched. Did I get that right, Prosecutor Gavin? Untouched? Quite. The guitar was wrapped in several sheets and vacuum packed in Bulgaria. The bag was untouched until the day of the concert. You saying that the guitar was... With cocoons this small, it would have been very easy to use your guitar as a mule to smuggle a cocoon out of Bulgaria!
What?
Which reminds me, Prosecutor Gavin, that guitar has some work done on it recently, right?
Work?
Good memory, Fred. Well, you know guitars have a round hole in the front. It's called the sound hole. Well, they found something attached to the wood just inside the hole. A broken device of some sort.
A broken device?
Yes, this, in fact.
An igniter!
Exactly. Consider this, if you will. What if that igniter wasn't the only thing that was attached inside your guitar?
You mean...
It means this, of course.
Ah! Ah!
There was a way to get the cocoon out of the country. They could use picky Prosecutor Gavin's privileged guitar as a mule. And who better to do that than someone with access? Like a member of the band!
Like... Order! So the igniter
Was placed in there for a clear reason, it seems. It was a safety precaution!
a precaution?
Ah, Alfred. At last, it all comes together. Every strange thing that happened that day. Care to review? Maestro, the gentle sounds of Lamiel's ballad, if you please. First, my keys were stolen. A misdemeanor, which forced me to break the lock on my guitar case. The key was stolen to retrieve the cocoon from the guitar.
I see.
But things didn't go so well. The smuggler wasn't counting on the guitar being wrapped. Only a member of the band could get near that case. Unwrapping the guitar would raise too much suspicions. Then the concert began. Right about this time, a very large problem presented itself to the smuggler.
What's that?
Mr. Latouche. Mr. Latouche, an undercover agent, was onto something. He would have known about the guitar. He'd only have to check the shipping records. So, Mr. Latouche tried to examine the guitar himself. If the cocoon were confiscated then, the gig would be up. The jig. Fuck. The only thing left for the smuggler to do was get rid of the whole lot.
It's over. Press the switch. No.
There you go. The guitar burst into flames. That was Darian saying that.
Oh.
And the cocoon was lost. And then... Pew! Mr. Latouche died. But Lamy was there to witness it. There's your case.
Brilliant, man. Detective Crescend. I gotta know. You make all that up on the fly?
A made-up story. Makes a great deal of sense, Darian.
Yeah. Republic of Bulgaria? Sorry, man, but I haven't even been there.
True, you haven't.
Ha! Let's see you make a story for that, kid. How'd I hide the cocoon in the first place, huh?
Not so hard to imagine. You had help. A Bulgarian accomplice. That's all. That you had an accomplice was clear from the start. The voice Lamiel heard proves it.
It's over. Press the switch. Now.
You made this transmission from backstage. Your co-conspirator was on stage.
But who was it?
This is it. The coup de grace. And for once I know what I'm doing. There's only one person who could have helped him.
Let's hear what Mr. Justice has to say then. But be warned. The great accusation comes great responsibility.
Love that film.
Make up your answer on the fly, as it were, and you'll be harshly penalized. Are you ready, Mr. Justice? Who was the smuggler's accomplice? Oh, shit. Okay, I feel like there's two options.
Yes. There is two options. The two Bulgarians.
Oh, right. There's two Bulgarians? Wait. So it's either Maki or Latouche.
Latouche is dead.
Yeah.
he shot him, and he'd be like, oh shit, Latouche, go ahead and press the switch to the
Alright,
guy he
Sean.
just shot.
I thought maybe he just like got rid of him. Wait, so it's his accomplice is Lamiwa?
It was either Lamy or Maki.
But we're defending Maki,
Yes,
so we can't implicate Maki.
we're defending him for a murder.
So he can be in. Yeah, I mean it has to be Maki then.
There's only one person who meets all the requirements of the accomplice, and that person is the defendant, Maki Tabaye!
But Mr. Justice, he's your client. Defense attorney accusing his client. That's a new one.
I assure you, no one is more unhappy about this than I. But I am here to defend him in the murder of Mr. Latouche. And I stand by my statement earlier that he is innocent of that particular crime.
Indeed, the defendant is Burkinian. He does meet the basic requirements to be the accomplice. But what if it was, in fact, Lamiwa?
It couldn't have been.
Well, you seem sure of yourself.
The reason is electronic signals, Your Honor.
Electronic signals.
Recall that this remote only works to a range of 30 feet. Beyond that, it's useless.
Yes, that's true.
Now, think back to the testimony. When the shooter made his transmission, Lamio was in the air vent, right above the dressing room where the shooter stood. Let's look at the stage diagram. This is the area that the remote could reach from the air vent.
Well, looking at this, it seems that Lamiwa still could have done the deed.
No. When the shooter made that transmission, the stage was slightly different than shown here. It was in the middle of the guitar serenade. Part of the stage was raised. Prosecutor Gavin and Lamio Standen were in the air. They were on a tower which happens to be 15 feet tall. In other words, the remote couldn't have worked from Lamio's position in the air vent.
Ah! So it had to be the piano player!
The penis? Well, Detective Crescent, what do you say to that?
Your Honor. Yes, Detective. Would we see the video where Gavin's guitar burns? Just one more time. Well, I don't see why not.
What? Don't tell me he has a way out of this.
Ha ha! Too bad, so sad, punk.
Punk?
First you were sleeves, then kid, now punk. You're losing rank fast, Apollo. What exactly were we supposed to see in this video?
The problem isn't what we can see. Correct, Darian?
Right, it's what you hear. We are musicians after all.
Care to explain for us non-musicians?
Sure thing, punk. Let me get your yarn straight first. You're saying I ordered the wee penis to to set off that igniter. That right?
Yes.
Well, in order to do that, we'd have to press a switch.
He had to press the switch.
We'd have to press a switch. Am I right?
Okay.
Now take another listen. Pay attention to the piano.
Piano?
Yeah, but we found the igniter inside of the piano, so a certain note is what activated it.
No.
Oh. What seems to be the problem there? The piano sounds just fine.
And plus, whenever Trucy was playing the piano, it the key got stuck on the string, so the igniter was definitely not in the piano during the performance.
That's the problem. Man, you still don't get it.
Ah,
Yeah, how's he supposed to hit that switch if he's playing? You got Miss Diva, the guitar, the bass, piano, and the drums. The only one with her hands free was the Diva. Lord. But according to you, she couldn't have been the accomplice, could she? Your accomplice would have had a hard time helping out. If they couldn't even press the switch.
You're gonna have to listen very close. Hey, closer. The piano plays non-stop.
God.
You couldn't have pressed that switch.
Well, Mr. Justice, piano does seem to be playing when the guitar catches fire.
Well,
It's okay. We all make mistakes sometimes. Apollo, were you wrong?
I can't be wrong. Everything makes perfect sense. How could it all just... Strange. What's strange? No, it's just... Something's odd about the performance there. Odd?
Mr. Justice? Maki Tobias didn't press that switch. Then he could not be the accomplice you claim he is.
But everything points to it. Every fact says he's the accomplice.
You got the facts wrong, man. Here's the facts for you. Gavin's guitar is on fire, but the penis didn't press that switch. In other words, your story's full of holes. Mr. Justice, let's hear your final opinion on this matter now. Was the defendant Maki Tobias the accomplice? Your answer will reflect on everything you've said here. Give it some thought. Apollo, if Maki's not the accomplice, then our whole case is ruined.
I know that. It has to be him. He was the only one who could have helped the smuggler. He had to have pressed that switch.
You better find a way to prove it.
Alright, let's take a listen. Yes. Tell me if there's anything wrong.
There's a tiny little pause there.
There's no pauses. Alright, did you hear it?
Were two keys hit there for a second?
You're on the right track.
Okay.
So think of him playing the piano. Right?
Yeah, yeah.
What would he have to do in order to, you know, press the switch?
You'd have to play it with one hand.
Okay. So try to notice if, like...
The rhythm's off?
Not the rhythm, but, like,
the transition from different sides of the piano?
No. You can hear it in this part. He's playing two, like, several notes at the same time, and you can't do that with one hand. Just tell me where that doesn't apply.
Right there, right?
Alright, did you hear it?
Yeah, just now.
That's just the difference between the things. But, okay, so tell me the difference between this, okay?
Yep.
That, okay?
Yeah,
tell me the difference
that's
between
different.
that and this.
there's no, like, deeper notes on the background.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, there you go. Ah! What do I do? What do I do?
There has to be something that doesn't fit. Something odd.
Something odd. Wait a second.
What? You thought of something?
What was Kevin saying just now? Strange. Oh, what's strange? No, it's just... something's odd about that performance there. It's not much to go on, but it's all I've got. What exactly did he hear that was odd?
Have you come up with something, Mr. Justice? May I remind you that everything rests on this? Can you prove Maki Tabaya pressed that switch? Let's hear your final answer. Can you prove Maki Tabaya pressed the switch? I can.
I don't know if you call this proof per se, but I can prove it was possible. And as prosecutor, it feels to me to ask you to show us this evidence supporting this. Good enough. Fred, you sure about this?
Accept it. There's no evidence, man. Let's see your evidence, Mr. Justice. On what do you base your claim that the defendant pressed the switch?
The basis for my claim is music, Your Honor.
Music? What's about music?
Let's listen to the piano part around the time when the switch was to be pressed. Right before the guitar burst into flame.
I hear a piano being played.
But, doesn't it sound kind of simple?
Simple?
I think I know what he's suggesting. You think Maki could have played that part with one hand?
One hand?
He only needed one hand to press that switch. He could have played the piano with the other.
Also you're some kind of piano savant?
Actually no.
What do you know? Can't play a part like that with one hand.
Maybe. I don't know what I'm talking about here.
Wait.
I know! Hey, Juicy!
Yeah? You got something?
Mr. Wright, your father, he's a penis! Could he?
Oh, Daddy? He couldn't play a part like that even if he had 3 hands. So sorry. So sad for you.
No, not really.
Huh?
That was just the easy way to prove it. There's always the hard way.
Man, how are you gonna prove whether he played it with one hand or 2? You can't.
I admit, it will be rather difficult to prove, but it's highly likely he was playing with one hand.
How do you know that?
The clue is what Prosecutor Gavin described as sounding odd. What sounded odd? I'll bet we can tell by listening to a certain part of the song.
No way. Well, let's see if we come to the moment of truth at last. Let's hear what Mr. Justice has to say for himself. Show us the part that proves the defendant was playing with one hand. Right before the guitar burst into flame.
Maki was definitely playing one-handed just before the guitar caught fire. And one section of the song proves it. And we got it already. It's the first part. Actually, which part is the piano? It was this, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it was. Prosecutor Gavin, I'm sure you realized by now just what it was that sounded odd to you. As I'm sure you realized by yourself, Fred.
Realize what?
I'll demonstrate. Let's listen to the part in question again, shall we? Pay particular attention to the but a fleeting melody phrase.
Man! How many times will we have to listen to the same thing?
You're right. Enough of that. Let's listen to another section, shall we?
Another section?
The guitar bursts into flame at the end of the second verse. Let's listen to the same spot, in the first verse. Pay attention to "Oh, that night in your embrace." in your embrace.
Ah! Play verse 2 again.
So you're like, Queen. Pleasure. What a fleeting melody.
Pleasure.
There, did you hear that?
What a fleeting melody. Pleasure. They feel the same, true. But they're clearly very different. What?
Well put, Your Honor. The phrase in verse 2 is quite simple, but the same phrase in verse 1 has high and low notes. You have to use 2 hands to play that for sure!
Ah! Yeah! What's that prove?
I would think you'd know that by now.
This is why I hate dealing with amateurs, eh, man? So the 2 verses had different arrangements. It happens all the time.
Not this time, Darian.
Yeah.
There's no point in changing an arrangement if you can't hear it clearly. And that wasn't the point. I had him play specifically so that the piano would stray in the background. Stay. That was what I noticed. Why should the same phrase sound slightly different, I ask myself. Now ask yourself why Maki changed how he played, and there's only one answer. He needed a free hand in order to press the switch!
Yeah. Order. I believe this ties all the facts together. Well, Prosecutor Gavin?
Yes, quite. Though, personally, this comes as a terrible disappointment.
Eh.
What? No comeback? Can't believe it, I finally did it! I shut him up!
Very well. Barring an objection from the prosecution, I will now state the court's opinion on this matter. Heh. Heh heh heh. Good show, Sleeves. No. Right show.
It's not over? I don't like it when he looks so happy.
You tell him, Gavin. Tell him what's so disappointing.
Personally, I'm terribly disappointed. And you, Airthroid? Huh? Me? Yes, don't get me wrong, your case is solid. The facts all check out, but even now, you have yet to show us a single piece of decisive evidence. Yeah, but the facts, anyone can see it was him.
Unfortunately, anyone does not include the law. I'm afraid your case doesn't cut it.
But
1,000 facts might point toward the same conclusion, but without decisive evidence, it is not proof. That's the rule under our current legal system.
I don't believe it.
It does not seem as though the defense has any more evidence to present. Oh, I think we did. Did we already? I think if he did, we already would have seen it a long ways back. It is unfortunate, but at present, this court is unable to acknowledge your accusation.
What? The truth is staring us all right in the face. Why can't they see it? What's the point of a legal system that protects criminals?
Apollo, remember what Daddy said? It won't be easy proving he did it. Especially not under the current court system.
So what do I do?
Like I said, good luck. And be aware that it will be impossible to prove his guilt by conventional methods. Every man has an igniter inside him. Find Darian Crescen's igniter. Set it off. I wonder what he meant by every man's igniter.
I think he just meant a weak spot, no? The kind of thing that a single spark could turn into a wildfire of emotion? I won't be able to press him any further by conventional means. I've got to find a weak spot in this guy. Something fatal.
So, can I get back to work now, or what? May look like I got a lot of time on my hands. I got no more time to play pretend with this deadweight attorney. Well, Mr. Justice, we've come this far without decisive evidence. This witness won't be coming back to the stand once we let him go.
Every man has an igniter.
Eh?
Didn't you say the better the guitar, the brighter it burns, Prosecutor Gavin? Ah, yes. Good guitars are kept dry is why. That provides the best sound. Even a small spark could cause irreparable damage. Your plan has an igniter in it too, Detective. It was there from the very beginning.
What?
Fighting time, Justice. If you blow this one, it'll be out of your hands for good.
Go for it, Apollo. What? And this ignite is supposed to come burn me up. It's almost poetic there, Mr. Attorney.
I'm rather fond of poetry. But I intend to hear this one through to the very end. Ford, you are accusing this man, Darian Crescent, of 2 crimes. The murder of Miss Latus and the smuggling of a Bulgarian cocoon. This is your last chance to prove your case.
This trial's already run on far too long. Say that again. Mr. Justice, this will be my last warning. The moment this igniter of yours turns out to be a dud, it's the moment this cross-examination ends. Understood?
Yes, Your Honor.
Then let's have it. Show us the basis for these accusations against Darian Crescent.
Okay, this is really my last chance. The key that will take apart Darian Crescent's plan is...
And it's the igniter. Are we talking about a literal igniter, or like they said, like something that's going to make him like...
I would say both, but... yeah. I would say both technically, but think of it as a metaphor for now.
He's in love with Lamua.
No. So you want to call a witness?
I don't know. I'm trying to think. It's hard to do. The key that'll take apart Darian Crescent's plan. His plan was to
smuggle this cocoon.
Smuggle this cocoon.
Yeah. And
he was unable. It was fake. He was unable to.
No. The real cocoon
is somewhere.
Was in the guitar. That's what we were talking about. The real cocoon was in the guitar, and they had
But it lit on fire and it burned it up.
Yes.
Why the fuck would he do that?
Because the jig is up, he said. So destroy it before,
anyone else gets to it.
Yeah.
But then why was there that second igniter?
Don't worry about that for now.
Okay. So
if we call a witness, who would be able to basically prove that Darian did that crime?
Gavin.
No.
Lamua.
No.
Prove that he did. Oh. Latus. I'm just kidding.
No.
Maki Tabaye.
There you go. Your igniter isn't a piece of evidence.
Huh? So what is?
It is true that I couldn't show decisive evidence, but perhaps what I needed to prove my case was something else. You mean a witness? Proving his guilt is a tall order, but I've got just the person to do it.
Very well, Mr. Justice. Who is this person who can prove Darian Crescent's guilt?
The one person who can prove Darian Crescent's guilt is the defendant, Maki Tabaye.
Your client? Again?
Maki Tabaye was an accomplice to the cocoon smuggling plot. Without him, Darian Crescent could not have gone in the cocoon. Furthermore, he can easily prove that the one who plotted to smuggle that cocoon is the real criminal in this case.
How so?
It will require just one of the very cocoons Mr. Latus was looking for. With the cooperation of the Republic of Bulgaria, we could burn a cocoon. The burnt cocoon would leave a particular residue. A residue which we would, with no doubt, would also find inside the burnt-out guitar.
Aha! Very scientific of you.
Thus, if Maki Tabaye acknowledges his agreement with Darian Crescent concerning the attempted smuggling of a Bulgarian cocoon, the case is solved!
Heh. Darian's laughing again. Your unrelenting passion is remarkable. You really want to get me, don't you? Too bad you'll never be able to.
Why not?
Little key Tekla won't acknowledge anything. Especially not anything to do with cocoon smuggling. What's this all about?
Taking a cocoon out of the country means death. By Bulgarian law.
Yeah, see? If our penis really was a smuggler, he'd Testifying about it would be suicide. Believe me, he's not talking.
But you're wrong, Detective Crescent.
What?
It's the other way around. If Maki doesn't admit to smuggling here, he's in deep trouble!
Eh? How?
Look, if Maki admits to smuggling here, then he'll be tried in our courts, by our laws. You don't get the death penalty for smuggling in our country.
Ah.
The victim in this case was an undercover Interpol agent. I'm sure that news has already reached Bulgaria, and they're likely broadcast our dealings in court today, including the part about the Bulgarian cocoon.
Yeah, but...
But, if Maki doesn't admit to smuggling now, he'll eventually be picked up by the Bulgarian police, and it's not like he's in any danger in our court. We're not going to find him guilty of murder here, not now!
Yeah, but... You can't do this. You can't accuse me.
Maybe the law doesn't allow it. But who's going to think you're really innocent after hearing this trial? The same goes for Maki Tabaye.
Ah.
The cocoon smuggling, your entire plan, Maki Tabaye knows everything. There's only one way out of it for him, and that's to acknowledge his own crime. The crime of cocoon smuggling!
Don't worry there. I'll get you out of the country. Set you up for someplace. Hidden mansion, real nice. And a house made of cookies. And now a house made out of pianos. Come on. Please! Don't
Dalian, I consider that my last session with you. Be locked. I'm guessing we can treat that outburst as a confession?
Uh-oh. He's laughing again.
There's a kind of sick desperation in it now, though.
Well, have you been listening to today's trial? Yes. And you'll talk? You tell this court everything?
I didn't want to turn out this way, but I'm not the kind of lawyer that can overlook a crime. Today's trial was all for your benefit, you know. I see no reason why you should hesitate now.
I knew. From beginning I knew.
Okay.
Situation I could not explain, but money. I needed very much money. Today's trial raises a delicate issue with our legal system. The only thing definite in it is evidence. The only thing definite in a court of law is evidence. This is the golden rule. However,
it has become apparent that not all things can be tried by this standard.
should another case of this sort surface, we may have to consider an alternate system by which to administer justice. Anyway, Mr. Maki Tabaye. Yes. I promise you will receive a fair trial by the laws of our country. And with regards to the current charges of murder of Mr. Latouche, this court is prepared to announce a verdict. I think I only lie, but you see truth, you find truth. That's our job. Very well. This court finds the defendant, Maki Tabaye, not guilty. Court is adjourned. I wonder what will happen to Maki.
Well, he did smuggle a cocoon out of Bulgaria.
I guess
there'll be another trial here.
All's well that ends well. Just kidding.
Yeah,
All's well that ends well.
I actually don't know. I think it's... yeah. All's well that ends well. That's fucking Phoenix! God damn it!
Daddy!
There she is! I owe you both my thanks. Lamua? Is something wrong? I'm sorry, Maki was your partner on stage. Your friend. Yes, I thought of him as my own son. Even now I do. Yet, something has gotten a hold of him. Something evil, I see that. And he must pay for what he has done. Is that not how it should be? I'm still sorry. Do not be sorry. You have given me courage.
Courage?
I am considering an eye operation.
It was my suggestion, actually. You mean, you'll be able to see again?
It's funny. I have always been afraid of the light. Light seems so harsh, so unforgiving.
According to the doctor, Arwa lost her sight due to some kind of accident.
An accident? As you know, I suffer from amnesia. I feel that if I could see, perhaps it would open my eyes to the truth I had been running from. I was scared.
You know what changed her mind? Hearing your defense in there today. She could feel your gaze, unwavering, always looking straight at the truth.
If the light returns to my eyes, I think I would take a painting. Painting?
That's right. She's a landscape painter in town after all.
I will paint the two of you. I promise.
Woohoo! I can't wait, Lamroar. I owe you my thanks too, Apollo.
Unless you two are fucking ugly as hell, then probably I wouldn't. Thanks, Mr. Wright, but for what?
You remind me I need to hurry things along. On my secret mission, that is.
Right, your secret mission. Apollo, Juicy, I hope that we will meet again someday soon.
You bet. Me too.
And so, like a ballad, the trial flowed on and on, until it came to an end. Thanks to the trial, the Guitar Serenade was a huge hit. Prosecutor Gavin's even more dazzling to look at now. But, there's something I want to say to that guy. Next time you write a ballad,
have them catch the killer at the end.
that's the end of Turnabout Serenade. What did you think?
Well, I'll be quick because I was supposed to be somewhere an hour ago.
Yep.
But, I really liked it.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, I did like it a lot.
Compared to, what do you think compared to the last case?
I like it more than the last case.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I have also been a Turnabout Serenade defended as well. Because people say this is the worst case in the series. Which I...
in the Apollo Justice or in the whole...
The whole series. I'm like, no, not at all.
What? Why did people... Why?
Because of how they
I mean, I have like
the biggest.
I would have some critiques, but
Yeah.
overall, I feel like it was good.
The biggest complaints, other than of course you have to watch the video like 50 times,
yeah,
is that arresting Maki makes no fucking sense at all because they were like saying that the killer used this revolver that would dislocate your arm if you're not experienced with it, so we're going to arrest this child that has no experience with it.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense.
Which I think it does make sense because that's what Phoenix has been going about, which with the whole Dark Age of the Law thing. He's saying that basically people with power are going to be able to get out of situations that they shouldn't have. You know, like how Darian was almost out of the ballpark. It's also the same thing with like Damon Gant as well. People with higher power typically, you know, are like the final bosses of these games.
Right.
So like he's saying that, they basically just used Maki as a scapegoat, which I think that makes a lot of sense. Honestly, yeah, the only complaint I have about this trial is that we watched the video like 50 times, which is why I wanted to limit it as much as possible by having you find out what was wrong about it.
Yeah, listening to the music. There's a lot of work that goes into this one, for sure.
I also think that, Lamua has a little bit too many testimonies.
It's definitely a little long, but I mean, a lot of these go, I think, a little too long.
I don't think most of them do. I think this one does, but other ones, no, I don't think so. I think they are pretty much a good length.
Some of them I feel is like probably too many testimonies on most of them, where it's like, all right, we know this is going, hurry along. This is a formula, okay.
Yeah, I see.
We know.
Alright, so we're going to be doing the next day, which is Turnabout Succession in
the next episode.
So thank you for watching this episode of Apologize. Make sure to like, subscribe, and be notified to upload. Which is
Every single day
we're gonna go to the final case. Actually, this is the final case
of the game.
of the game. Yes,
Only 4.
only 4. Yeah, it's only 4. So,
And they only did 1 Apologize this game?
yeah, this is the only game that's called Apologize.
Oh. Okay.
So yeah.
Alright then.
Goodbye.